Good morning. So, I want to talk a little bit about creating the life that you want now, creating the life that you want first before you have the means. And I'll kind of tell a story about this because I was thinking this morning, I'm out here hiking and I go every morning on a walk with the dogs. Either I go down the mountain where I live or I take a 5 minute drive down to this valley that I'm in now and I do some kind of hiking. And it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I've put into my life as a kind of, um, it just became part of my life. I enjoy doing it, and I put it into my life. And for years and years and years, I did no hiking, which I always loved hiking. When I was a kid, I used to cut school and go hiking. I used to pretend like I was catching the bus, and I would go out on the mountain and I would come back when it was time for the school bus to be back. I used to do that. I used to do that quite a bit. I just liked being outside. And I remember even when I was really little, waking up in the morning and wanting to run outside and be with the goats. We had goats. I, I I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to be with the goats on the side of the mountain. And for years and years and years, most of the time that I was married, I didn't do a lot of hiking. I became extremely overweight. I weighed twice as much as I weigh now. And really almost all of the things that I really enjoyed in life were cut out. There were things that I did enjoy. We built a big business and I enjoyed that. And I used to go to secondhand stores and things like that and search for all sorts of treasures. And I really enjoyed that. And I did the bustle, the run of life, getting into the matrix, deep into the matrix, living that life that is kind of like an external life, like have a big house in the suburbs and nice car, a nice new car, and kids that you put in school from my little ones that now they're 14 and 16, but they were little then. Put them into daycare from 7:30 in the morning and pick them up at around 5:30. It's like other people are raising your children while I go off and feed the machine, the matrix. And it becomes like a life that, on one hand, it became very, very comfortable because we had means and there was a system going, and I knew I could do that, and we were doing well by those standards. But on the other hand, there was nothing spiritual about it. It was all just in this 3D mode, in the 3D. And when at about 10 years ago, I pretty much like folded up my whole life. We were living in the States. We were living in Skokie, Illinois, near Chicago, and we had a moving company. And at some point, and I started drinking heavily, and then at some point, and our marriage wasn't good from the get-go. From the very get-go, it wasn't a good suit. I think that I kind of found security in him when I was really young. We married a week or two before my 20th birthday. And by the time I was 22, we already had two kids. And my two oldest, which are 26 and 25. My son is oldest, and then my daughter, and then I have two younger boys. And so at some point, it was like I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it because I was, there's these thoughts. I used to get home with my car and sit outside of the house and not want to go in. I would just sit there sometimes for 15 minutes in my car, not wanting to go in the house. And then at one point, I had this thought, this aha moment was, wow, if the mother of this house doesn't want to go into the house, how do the kids in this house feel? And I think that that was also like a shifting point for me. There are these moments that are like defining moments in your life where something happens, some kind of realization or something that from that moment onward, I'm getting like the shivers. From that moment onward, nothing is the same. And I think that that was one of those little moments at that time in my life was when a whole bunch of little aha moments like that came in, but they all connected a dot for me. It's like, Bing, 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 also with the drinking and sometimes waking up and not remembering what had happened the night before. And the relationship with my husband had gotten so um, toxic by that time. And my hobbies had all fallen out. I wasn't doing artwork already for like 8 years, and I was, that's who I am. And I mean, building a business is a kind of art, and I really was hands on in that business. I really was um, my husband and I built the business together, and I don't think that I would have even wanted to build it on my own. But, and he took care of a lot of the side that was the practical, like taking care of the trucks and keeping the workers in a line. We had a lot of employees, and I took care of the office and sales and like all of the logistics of it, and advertising and all of the, and in charge of sales and all of that, all of the office administrative part. And I was really good at it. I am really good at it. I know how to be assertive. I know how to be that strong. I just don't want to anymore. That's like, you get to a place in life where you just don't want to anymore. I just want to watch the butterflies. There's a butterfly over there. I just want to watch the butterflies. But getting back to my story, there's the butterfly. All I want to do is watch the butterfly now. And so at some point, I just couldn't go on anymore. It didn't matter. I was thinking to myself, what is all the money worth? If we have enough money, I had a platinum credit card, enough money to do whatever I want, right? Go wherever I want, do whatever I want. I did do a really cool trip with the kids and my brother. We rented this big SUV like thing. It was a big one, like a Savannah maybe, I don't know, but it was like a 12-seater, and we drove across all of the states. From Chicago we went west, so we went up to the through the Dakotas and saw Mount Rushmore, and then we drove up to Montana, and we were with my family in Montana for a week or so, and the kids got to go shooting and to the and swimming in the creeks, and visit all of my family up there. And then we went down to Oregon and we visited the family there, and then we went to the Redwoods, and we went down to Disneyland, and then to Vegas. And Vegas was, I don't know, it was something else. I've been to Vegas, I think, 4 times, but with my kids and my brother, it was just like so funny. And I was drinking then. It was like hilarious. And then we drove all the way back. We were going to fly back, but then it didn't work out. So we drove all the way back through Utah and all the way, was it Utah? I think it was Utah. But we drove the states. It was like a 3-week trip. It was so cool. Um, but that it was unsustainable. I didn't like my life, and it got to be such a buzz that it wasn't even worth it. Like, what is the purpose of all of the money if you don't enjoy your life? It's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. And so at some point, and also the drinking was a big thing, and I just wanted, when every time I would come to Israel to visit my family, I would see them doing like fun things that I used to do, go hiking and do all of the things that I love doing and being together, and I just felt completely detached. And so we just took our whole life and folded it all up. I put who had been working, there was a woman who had been working for me for around 6 years at that point, and I put her in charge of the office. But then from then for 2 years, like, we kept up the company kind of, but as soon as as soon as we left, the company started going down. A company can't stay afloat without its owners there, some watching it, really. And but at that point, I was already going through rehab and stuff. And then and I had this big mega aha moment that was like, build the life you want first. put the, it's that jar with the stones where you put in the, if you put in the big stones first, then you have room for all the little stones. All the rest is going to build around. First, do the things that you want. So I started doing with my art. And what I noticed with my art is that it's just like any muscle. You don't use it, you lose it. Use it and you gain it. And it's taken practice. So I'm getting back. I still feel like I'm getting back into my art, because when I was younger, I used to always have art going, art projects. And anymore, I think it also has to do with the responsibilities and me being single and having to support myself. So that's always something that's in my mind. So I can't just get up in the morning and be free to just start doing art. Which, on the other hand, I'm telling myself, if you do that, then the means will come. It's just the same like putting these hikes, and that's where this whole thing started, from putting the hikes into my life. I don't feel guilty over it. I feel like it's something that is a given. That's in my life. And sometimes I'm out until like 10 o'clock in the morning before I even start doing any of my work. And that is just a given. It's something that I put into my life, and it's naturally a part of my life. It's not something that I feel is extra. And I know that in my life 10 years ago, to go on a hike would have been like, okay, let's plan it, let's make time for it, and today it's just like, it's just a given. It's part of my life, it's part of my everyday. And that's how kind of I decided to build my life. I decided to put in the big stones first, the things that are important to me first. So my children, I like hiking, my art, all of that has to find a place first. My writing, and I'm glad I'm doing this video because I'm experiencing it with myself. I'm retelling myself the same thing. And another thought that I'm having also with, there was some videos that I did about following your nose, and your nose will lead you into the right place. It's like, if I get into my right place, like we can look at it as a vibration. If I get into my pure vibration, the purest vibration that I am, right? If I get into that purest vibration, then I will naturally go into the places that I need to be in. I will naturally be the best in those places, and providence will come from that. So what I'm thinking now is about my artwork, how I'm always pushing my artwork off to the side, but I can actually integrate my artwork into my work. And if I take my artwork and I do it out of the right place, out of inspiration, out of coming into myself through meditation, I can bring myself back to my center. I want to talk about that too. Bring myself back to my center, and then come into my purest vibration, and then inspiration and all of the places that I am naturally meant to be will be played out on this 3D field, because I am in my center, because I am in the right place where I need to be. It can't be different than that. And I feel like I'm coming now back into my center after this last couple of weeks. If you've been following the purging these last couple of weeks, and I keep on going back and forth about, wow, I put up those videos of me, like, but I see it now from outside of it. Listen, I know how this thing goes. It's loopy, but right now I'm feeling very centered, and I can see a few different aspects of it. One of the things that I see is that those are push-off points, that is all part of the growth. The going down, there is no shame in it. There is no, if you're able to be completely honest about it, and not, somebody wrote to me in one of the comments that what if my twin is watching these videos? First of all, I don't know. I don't think that he is. I think that, first of all, he respects my privacy, and he knows, because I've told him I talk about everything that I'm going through, and he knows what I'm going through. And that's another point. He knows what I'm going through. and he's able to contain it. Like he's able to just be solid next to it and kind of hold that space between us, which allows for us to kind of integrate this friendship that we're building. As I'm letting go, it's like he's standing solid and holding me while I'm flipping all over the place, down and up and around and this and that and overthinking it and running and chasing, and he's just kind of standing there waiting for me. It's like I don't want to use like a fish out of water but it looks like a fish out of water that's all just jumping around all over the place. That's how I feel, like inside, instead of just constantly being in my center. And that was something that I noticed. Like, I'm glad I'm doing these videos. I watched those videos of me crying. I was like, first of all, I was crying with myself. That was funny. But I was also watching like the patterns of it. When you just have it in your memory, it's kind of, time is always elapsing. It's always, you can think of down moments, but they are when you have these down places, like you get into this down energy, right? This low vibration. So it kind of merges with other places that I was in that same low vibration. So it's kind of timeless. But as I'm doing the videos, I can kind of see the patterns. I can see down, up, down, up, down, up. And I can kind of watch, and I can watch myself from outside of myself. This is also why I'm totally encouraging whoever's watching this and feels like the draw to document their own story. Who's going to document it if not you? I mean, who would come in and document this whole wild, crazy thing? If anything, it's amusing. I mean, if anything, it's amusing, at least for some people. It's like watching a docudrama. I don't know. It's funky. This whole twin flame crap is just like, it's like mind freaking bending. It's like, what, how did I get on this freaking journey? This is like, I feel like on one part of me is like, what the fuck? Like, who would have even thought that there was such a thing as this? And then it's like, it's not only that, you're also all alone in it, because nobody around you in your life, except for other people that are on the journey, can really understand how mind-bending it is, because it's above the physical plane. It's above the freaking physical plane. And that's what I've noticed about those downs. When I go down and I'm in that place, I'm burning out the physical plane, because every time I'm down, I'm crying about 3D things. Oh, I miss him. Oh, he's not with me. Oh, he is going out. I feel like this. It's all about the 3D. And when I'm in those low places, it's not only am I worried about that, maybe that's the big things, and those are the things that I'm mostly talking about because those are the big things, but I'm also like, when I start going down, it's also, I start worrying about money, and I start worrying about all sorts of other things. It's like when you're in that low vibration, it brings up all the scrunch in the bottom of the bucket, like all the, it's like, it's like you go down deep to work through all of that, and you're working through also the big pains, but also the little pains, and kind of overcoming it. And then when you come back into your solid, you can look at it, and I can see like the perspective of where I'm sitting now. Like now I'm sitting in my high vibration. I'm sitting in my soul seat. I'm thinking about being in the now. I'm thinking about powerful thoughts. I'm in a different realm. It's where I can see everything from a higher plane. I can see cycle of life. I'm sitting over this valley. Let me show you. I am sitting right across from that pillar. And I was thinking when I was walking here to that pillar, look, the moon is behind the pillar, and over there is the cave. And I was thinking, the pillar has like this old grumpy face. And it's right down this valley here, but I really chose the spot right, and it just by naturally I chose it, not by. But as soon as I sat down, I noticed that I was sitting right in front of the pillar, and I was thinking about energy and how energy gets trapped in things, how energy gets trapped in things. Like when we put our energy into something, our energy goes into that and gets trapped in it. And there have been generations and generations and generations of ancients that used to pray to this mood, this pillar. I'm sure there up on the side of this mountain on top is where that altar is, that big squared out rock that I go and sit on sometimes when I feel like I'm a sacrifice. Sometimes I do feel like I'm a sacrifice. And I do feel like even with making these videos, it's kind of like sacrificing my privacy. It's like I'm putting myself out there. It's kind of like becoming a sacrifice. Um, how can I be of service? Kind of, it's kind of like I'm asking the universe, how can I be of service? I feel a shiver coming up my back because that is what I feel like. I feel like I am being of service. But I'm not only being of service, when you are in the right place, it's kind of, when you are in the right place, it's right and feels right all around. So not only am I in service to whoever needs it and can get by this and is experiencing this alongside me and can feel the emotion and can understand what they're thinking in their own mind, or even if they already know what they're thinking, can feel like there are more people that understand this, because these are such elevated, these realms of thought are, first of all, they're like one little rabbit hole. And I know that that it can feel very lonely to be in these places, and feel like there's nobody else around that would even be able to comprehend what you're talking about. And that's what I love so much about making these videos, is that I'm finding girlfriends, which I've always wanted to bring more girlfriends into my life, but girlfriends that get it, that are halfway across the world, and that by me sharing, we've made like a bond, created a bond that is halfway across the world. And I mean, that's just amazing. It's just amazing. And we are spiraling with each other too. It's like we are taking our own sacred knowledge and adding it and adding it and adding it. So I get a lot of messages, and I feel like shivers coming up my whole body. I get messages that make me start thinking, that make me create more, that bring more messages, that bring me more. It's like this cycle that we're creating, and we are rising together in all of these understandings and supporting each other, also in the lows and also in the understanding that, we're all human here. This is all part of it. And I really love all the encouragement when I'm really down. When I'm really down, people write in such encouraging things, and it makes it like, sometimes I'm so far down that I understand it, but I can't get there emotionally. But sometimes it just like lifts me right up, or sometimes it just makes me feel so like warm and like I have comrades for the road, people that know what I'm going through, that are following my life story. I mean, besides that, who's following my life story? I think that in my life itself, okay, my kids, they don't really give a crap about my life story. They're more like, and I don't mean it in like, they just don't get it. They're more, they're my kids. It's like they're in it for me taking care of them and being normal, and coming to their school events and making them food, and waking them up in the morning and turning on the hot water for them. And they're into me being their mom. They're not into, wow, what a spiritual journey. They for what they care, they would prefer, I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't. It doesn't matter. And my older kids, they're in the bustle of it. They are both, my 25-year-old girl and my 26-year-old son. They both have big businesses that they're running already. I'm so proud of them, but that really takes like a load off when they can be out there supporting themselves and doing their own things. First of all, I'm proud of them. It's like, okay, we did something right, because they are really making their way in the world. They're both out there like really like doing it with business wise and stuff. And then my mom, yeah, my father, he's just funny. I don't know. He does, I don't know. I don't think he can be bothered much. He just wants me to be happy. That's all. But he just I think he's too into his own things. He has his own world. He's all into his history and stuff. And then my mom, she follows, but she also tries to like she follows, but she doesn't want me to go off on all these weird things. She was raised like in a super Christian like God, anything that has to do with God or a little bit too much. And she's totally spiritual, but she doesn't see it. But 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 anything that has to do with God or anything that has to do with the spirit or anything that has to do with too much spirituality, she cringes from, and she's like, ugh. So, and this whole twin flame thing, she cannot get it. She is totally on the 3D with it. She cannot comprehend it. She cannot understand it. And she was the only one that I really tried to speak with her about it. Also with my daughter a little bit, but then I let go of that really quick because my daughter and I were like best friends for most of, for the only in the last couple of years has she really gone off and built her own life, which I'm really excited about and happy for her that she's kind of separated from me, because I think that we were so tight that it kind of prevented her from doing her own thing. So now she has a boyfriend. She lives with him in the Golan Heights. It's about an hour away. And she has a pub and she has her dog pension and she is doing all sorts of other things. She has her own life and I'm really excited for her. I'm happy about that. I'm happy, in the beginning it was kind of like uneasy, the separation, because we were so close. But now I'm starting to feel like it also gives me space. It also gives me space to go off on all of these trips and not have to, it gives me space, it gives her space, and I can see that it's really healthy for her and her coming into her own adulthood and into her own accomplishments and not feeling like she's in my shadow. So I'm really happy about that. And I love her, and she is just awesome. She is such an awesome human being, really. Each of my kids are unique. So I was really noticing, like in those down videos, that I am completely in the 3D. So that means, and then when I come out of it, I come up into these higher planes, into my highest timeline, into my higher vibration. I'm going to get back and do some work today. I think I want to work on my site and try to get that somehow accomplished. I'm going to get my focus eyeballs on it. Now that I'm in this vibration, I think that I should take that momentum and really do something with it. Yesterday I went to the hot springs and I filmed while I was arriving there. I was thinking afterwards I should have filmed all the way till I got there, and my twin was there. And so I got to see him we were there for maybe an hour or so. And it was a lot of fun. There were some other friends there, people that we know from the area. It's really feels like a community, almost like a community of friends. I do all these videos and I'm always by myself, but I have I am a lot by myself. I enjoy myself. I enjoy being with myself, but I do have quite a few acquaintances, and I have a large family, and I have people in my life I've been kind of pulling away from. It feels like the more I go along the spiritual awakening, the more my family becomes like people that can actually understand. My family is my family, and I love my family. But the people that are going through spiritual awakenings and can connect to that and can connect to these higher realms and can understand that, I feel like more and more like that's my core family. Like those are the people that are in my life and I want to surround myself with, because we get each other. It's just as simple as that. It's just like the people, you guys that are watching the videos, you get it. It's a completely different way of living. And so what I really started off this video and talking about is creating the life that you want now, rather than someday when I have the means, I'll create the life that I want. It's slowly starting to put the things that you really want. Sit down, make a list of things that if you had, without any conditions on it, if you were able to create the exact life that you wanted, what would be in that life? How would that look? If it didn't have anything to do with money, because money is the matrix. If it didn't have anything to do with money, what would you do? How would it look? You'd get up in the morning and what? Right? Not just high in the pie in the sky kind of ideas. What? You get up in the morning and what? How would your life look if you had the ideal life? And make a list of those things and really imagine it, because when you imagine it, you bring it into an emotion. And when you imagine it, imagination is what creates. Use your imagination to bring the emotion, which brings the reality. And so the more every morning, let's say when I meditate, some mornings I'm able to get into it more and some mornings less. But this morning I was kind of half. But if you can imagine it and imagine it to the detail, you can feel it, what it feels like to live that life. And then not only is the yearning become like more of, your mind doesn't know the difference in between reality and imagination. Your mind, thoughts are thoughts. It can't see, your mind is imagining something, so it's real for your mind, right? Your mind isn't aware that your body isn't experiencing that right now, and your mind is closed off in this little thing. Your mind thinks it's reality. So the more you can imagine something to be perfect the way that you want it, the more that you can manifest it in the real world. But not only that, you can create it consciously. So if you sit down and you make a list of these things, just like my hiking in the morning, in the beginning, it felt like, I'm going to go out hiking when I have all this stuff that I need to do. I need to clean house. I need to do my business. I need to keep on top of things. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do hiking. And what I realized is that this hiking adds so much more value to my life than if I had stayed home and done the dishes. The dishes are going to get done. The work is going to get done. But this hiking or getting out into nature or doing yoga or doing exercise or whatever it is, or drawing or painting or writing or whatever it is that your dream is. My daughter just wrote me. I know. It's like when I think of her and I'm imagining her and I'm thinking of, oh, she's so wonderful, then she sends me a picture of something or other. I need to go in and take a look and see what she wrote me. But that is how you create reality, right? And you do it without even knowing that you're doing it. Like just now I was talking about my daughter, and I came to mind to her because I came into her psyche. That's how this energetic level works. And that's also how this twin flame thing works. When you are energetically aligned, then you do the work energetically. You don't have to do all the chasing physically. The physical stuff will come, but you have to separate it. You have to be able to understand that. And that's just like when I was in those downs, it's the physical. But then when I'm in this higher place, it's like, okay, it's the emotional work is far more important than sitting next to him at some place. The emotional connection, the energetic connection, him being able to feel exactly, but it's not only to feel because you don't want him feeling all those crappy, you don't want him you want to, because of your love, right? You want to build him up and bring him up, and you see all of their greatness, pedestal. You see all of their greatness and you want to you want them to have this wonderful life experience. So you want them to be on that pedestal. Yeah, why not? Go get up on that pedestal and fly. I mean, this is the life experience. So why would I want to take him off the pedestal? Let him fly up on that pedestal. Hey, for that matter, I'm getting up on the pedestal too. Like, I'm going to put my own self up on the pedestal. Life on the pedestal is so much more fun than life in the grunge, right? So, I mean, and your life experience is only what you make it. So who cares what anybody else thinks? Oh, you're on a pedestal. You're on the high horse. Yeah, I'm on the high horse. I want to be on this high horse. This is my life experience. I want to sign out having ridden the high horse and lived on that pedestal. Absolutely. Created the life that I wanted and lived it. I got to go hiking for years and years and years every morning, and I didn't feel guilty about it. And I'm putting artwork into my life. And see, this is my cup of coffee, right? I come out on the side of the mountain and have my cup of coffee. Legitimate. Totally legitimate. And that's where all these videos come from too. When I'm in the house, I'm less inspired. When you're sitting next to your dirty dishes and all of your work that's sitting there on the table that needs to be done, you're less inspired. So And I'm feeling really good about not smoking marijuana. I feel like I'm bringing my mind back to myself. I feel like I allowed myself to go down into those dungeons in the darkness and open up all sorts of nooks and crannies in my mind. And the weed really helped me do that, because it put me in this like, ooh, kind of like this daze. I think I was in it anyway because of all the pain, but it really allowed me to submerge. Is that a word? Submerge myself into it, like, and the lower the lows, the higher the highs. I mean, it opens up both sides of the spectrum, right? If you can go all the way into the pain on that side, you can go all the way up to the heights on the other side, right? Everything is a spectrum, and one side builds the other and allows the other. And so I'm excited again, kind of. I'm not going to say the kind of. I'm excited again. I feel like I'm in the now. I feel like I can see the wonders of the world. Like I'm looking around and everything is just like glistening and bright and beautiful and wonderful. And just 2 days ago, when was it? It was 2 days ago, I think. I was in the same valley. I was on the other side of the there's a bridge over there. I was on the other side of the bridge, and that's when I couldn't move. I went out to do a hike. I was out here. I did that video of me really crying when I had like my eyes were like, oh, and I just couldn't move. I sat there for like, I don't know, like forever. I did, you know, everything is just kind of like a blur to me. It feels so like refreshing it feels like taking a really cold shower and then coming out and waking up. That's what I feel like coming out of that deep thing. And I'm glad I did that. You know, I was all the questioning, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I, should I? And I'm glad that I did, because it shows what's real. It shows what's real. You know, it shows what's real. You know, I was thinking, well, I should always be inspiring, but I think that isn't being completely honest, because in order to get to the inspiring places, you have to go through this schlep through I mean, that's what I'm finding in my reality. I know there's a lot of different ways to get to the same things. And, you know, it was just like when I was talking about, should I go through the pain or should I just snap out of it? And then the pain isn't relevant. And I still have those kinds of wonders. But what I did this morning, one of the thoughts that I had is just flow with it. This journey is happening for you. You are making some decisions as if, but really, I'm just being taken along for the ride. The more I can surrender, I mean, that's my whole job. Surrender into myself, into the journey, but into myself. Just, okay, follow your nose, get into the moment, get out of your mind, quit trying to maneuver everything and make everything happen just like you want it to happen. You don't even know. I mean, 2 years ago, you could have never seen where you would be right now. You would have never known that you even had those depths of pain. So it's not like I can take this thing and steer it exactly. I don't even know the depths of where I'm going. I can feel it. I get glimpses of it. I can feel that it's towards this complete just place of spectacularism, where everything, when you get into it's like Eckhart Tolle. I started reading his book. I didn't finish it. I want to, but The Power of Now. And he was telling a story of how, I heard him tell a story of how he was in this room and everything was buzzing so much. And then it was like he went into a different world. And that's what I feel like. I feel like it's coming into this massive where you just can't be in that state anymore. And it's just, everything just opens wide up. But I feel like I've gone through a lot of those different portals, but I feel like it's coming into the dimension of energy, which takes you out of the 3D, which puts you into like heaven on earth. And that's what I feel. I feel like we're all headed towards heaven on earth. That is what we are doing. So creating the life that you want, imagine what you want, feel it, make a list, and then just start putting those things. And, you know, start, if you have to work by a schedule, because that's how your brain is working now, because you are in this in that place in your life, then work it into your schedule until it becomes natural. Start putting one thing you enjoy in your life a day. Go take a course. Go uh, 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 demand your freedom to take a walk in the morning. I know that when I was married, it was like my husband, he was very controlling, and and I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. I'm saying it in a matter of factly way. And he was very, very controlling from his own reasons. Now as the person that I've become, I'm able to see that he had to do that in order to feel complete. He always has to hold the ship, hold the ship, hold the ship, control every little ding on the ship. And I guess I was part of his ship. Um, but like if I wanted to go out and just read a book, I used to read lots of books when I was young, and I quit after we got married. I'm not even going to tell the story, but it was bad. Okay, well, I already said that there's a story. So he came once when I was reading a book, and he just smacked the book out of my hand and called me a lazy. And ever since then, I quit reading. I quit reading. I used to read all the time, and that was like maybe a couple years into our marriage. And I don't feel anything about it now. I just kind of wish I could get that back, get the reading back, but not really, because I don't have time to read. My life is too exciting. But I do want the opportunity, the option, because I have post-trauma also with the focus. There's something with focus. When I got diagnosed with post-trauma, it gave me like a map to myself. It was like, oh, cool. Now I know what to work on. I feel like I've really healed myself from it. I don't feel like I don't walk around with this, oh, I have a post-trauma kind of thing. But I do try to recognize things. Like, so there's something with focus. And I realize that with focus, the reason is because you don't dive deep into anything. Because when you are constantly being ridiculed or under attack, or you always have to keep your attention, you always have to keep alert. So you don't allow yourself anymore to go deep into concentration, because something could come and get you. And that's kind of like when you have post-trauma over a prolonged period of time, like something that was continuously happening. And that's where I find that the focus, what happened with me with the focus, but now I'm starting to learn how to bring my focus back to me as I bring myself back into my own quiet center. So just sharing, boy, this video is going all over the place. And so with creating the life that you want, let's bring it back and sum it up. Creating the life that you want is really just starting to put those things into your life until they become a normalcy, and slowly adding more and more. And as you start adding these things that you enjoy into your life, and in the beginning, you don't really enjoy them because you feel guilty about doing them. You feel like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I should be doing dishes. I should be doing this. I should be, I have all this other stuff weighing on me. But then when you actually start doing it and you make it into like something habitual, it becomes part of your life, and you don't feel that guilt anymore. Actually, you feel like that is more important than doing the dishes. Coming out here on the side of the mountain lets me breathe for the rest of the day. It brings me into my connection with nature, and then it brings my flow into life. And it can be that with other things that are in your life, wanting to bring ourselves into expression is the, I want to say, like the backbone of humanity. It is like the ultimate backbone is what's coming to me, but it's not, it's more than a backbone. I know there's a different word for it. It is like the staple of your existence, is wanting to bring some kind of expression of this life that is happening now into the world, making the world expand. So what is humanity? We're expanding the all. We're expanding God. We're collecting information, and we're expanding it, because otherwise information, all of the knowledge in the world is all around us all the time. It's everywhere, in the beauty of everything. But if there isn't a consciousness that can collect it and build on it and create more things from it, then it just is. It's like the tree in the forest, that if it falls and nobody's there to see it, does it really exist? Does it make a sound? Did it happen? For something to in order to take all of this knowledge, what is its meaning? It's just like if you put on the best show in the world and nobody's there to watch it, what meaning did it have? It didn't have a purpose. And so this life and us being unique beings, our only one like us ever that existed and that ever will exist, the only makeup of this exactly with these parents and these conditions and this DNA and this personality and all of the things that we bring, if we want to make some kind of impression, we want to say we existed, there was something, we were here. That's why you see all over the place people writing their names. I was here, blah blah blah, the this and this plus this. People want to whether they know it or not, they want to add into the value of the all. So if we're sitting around just doing dishes all day and keeping up our existence, running around after money just to keep up our existence, we're not laying down any kind of anything substantial in the world. We're living to live. That's what I kind of felt like when I was running the business, is that I was kind of like, okay, so what is the purpose of having all this money if I'm not enjoying life? Like, I'm making money so that I can make more money. It's like I'm producing so that I can produce. It's like creating the cycle of just I am all of my efforts go towards allowing me to make money for my efforts. It's like useless. It's there isn't meaning in it. Okay, so I have a new piece of clothing that I can go to the office with and everybody can look at and go, "Oh, wow, pretty." Okay. Like, how long can you enjoy that? What, year after year after year after year? That's what's going to give you like satisfaction in your life. It's unsustainable. It's not something that will sustain unless you completely put yourself to sleep. Then that won't sustain the fire that you have in your spirit that wants to be expressed. So creating the life that you want in baby steps. Just start. Just start. Start doing something that you want. Start being an expression. Start living the life that you want. Add something in. Do something of value. Something that gives you pleasure. Something that is personally yours. Something that fills you up. Some dreams that you have had that you have completely closed off and said that'll never be. Start there. Start there. Start opening up. Allow yourself even to imagine. I know at the beginning of this journey, I didn't even allow myself to imagine what I really want because it was so far away from me. Now I'm imagining it exactly as I want it. The piece of property that I want with the little house on it, and exactly, where I want to be monetarily. I want to be, I want to be in a place where I can do what I want to do without worries. Um, and whatever that is at that time, I want to be an expansion. I want a nice little piece of property that I can grow my own food on. I want goats. But I want little goats because the big ones stink. So I want little goats and I want chickens and I want a nice big place that I can go out, and walk the mountains. I want to live in nature. I really want like if the property has some water running on it, that would be the best. And with trees and shade trees and plenty of room and a big balcony, like a big porch that I can sit on, and a place for all of my kids that if they want to come and lay their heads. See, I'm imagining it. I know what the kitchen looks like, and the kitchen has windows. So I'm imagining it exactly as I want it. So I'm saying that this is getting very long. I think I've made my point. So thank you for watching.